When I go back and I look at all the clients that we work with now that we've been in business for 3.5 years, it's like, what did they do? What order did they do it in? Who did they do it with? How much did they spend? And what was that life cycle? The business model we have that we teach, and this is the things you're gonna learn at the 10X 360, because this is startup and this is 125. So there's a couple different ways to get there. The way we've engineered this business model is up here you have education. And these are all the programs that we have to offer. You get sales, marketing, people, finance, leadership, stages, operations. So you have all these programs to help you learn how to not only, if you're by yourself, you're going to come and you have to learn to connect the dots. Once you build a team, you're going to start bringing your team to those programs, because the whole idea is the faster you can go wide and add depth to your team, getting them to work together, the faster the impact, the bigger the flywheel. So from here, the 10X 360, because this is the journey. When I go back and I look at all the clients that we work with now that we've been in business for 3.5 years, it's like, what did they do? What order did they do it in? Who did they do it with? How much did they spend? And what was that life cycle? The Steve Lagomarcinos and the people who've done everything that you can do with us. This, to go through this process, 10X 360, and then have us engineer the platform, have us engineer your business, then from there, they go into the SBU, our managed shared services. And that's where, like Sherman, for example, has a dedicated team of 5, marketing, operations, finance, human resources, professional development. Those 5 people have his platform, and they have all of our technology and methodologies, and all day long, if you think of flight control, like when I got on my plane, my pilots had their check sheet, right? Check, 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 check. Now, if I land in Vegas to drop somebody off, shut the door, and get ready to take off, guess what the pilots do? They go right back to that flight. I'm like, guys, let's just go, man. We just took off, we just landed, let's just take off. They're like, nope, we're gonna go through our 10 minutes of doing this thing before we start moving the aircraft. For me, I'm like, I wanna go, right? Well, what the SBU's job is with Sherman's, they're looking at the green lights, the yellow lights, the red lights. If they see a yellow light, they're deploying a solution. If they see a red light, they're deploying the crash team. Because the whole idea is, as you're growing and scaling, how much can you do by yourself? None of us have the wisdom or the depth of experience or the time, the energy, the effort to do everything that we need to do to build our business out across the 10 elements. So when they go into the platform, and then they go into the strategic business unit, this is where Grant and I start talking about 2 tracks, partner or managed services. Managed services is where you just pay us to help on a fractional basis to help you augment your team with that 5-function team. Partnership is where we start looking at the marketplace and start looking at how big your business can get, because when we platform, we have that plan. Now I bring this up because if you add up all these workshops and you add up the 10X 360, you could spend somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 depending on how many people you bring along with you. There's one other element, which is my leadership program. And that leadership program is 15 months. It's $180,000 for 2 seats. I have about 250 business owners in it. Sherman, you're in it. Aaron's in it over there. So you guys can talk to those guys. They've been in. Who heard Aaron's story the first night? So some of you didn't hear it. So Aaron, can you come up here real quick? Because I think what's really cool is for you guys to actually get to see someone that started with us here, started with us up here at a boot camp, because on the top of this are boot camps. You've got the real estate program. So we have these, what I call the very top of the funnel programs. So I met him at a boot camp.
Yep.
And then he went to the 10X 360 because he was having some problems, I guess, because you were stationed in Kuwait.
Yeah, so I was in the Nevada Air National Guard, flying on C-130s, and so when I was overseas, my business, so took the key man, my general manager at the point, and what ended up happening was, before I left, was we had all of the conversations. We're like, hey, let's build this thing up. I'm gonna be gone for 2.5 months. Like, you're the dude in charge. So when I left, the business did this. It went and it just started doing about 3 weeks in, and it just nosedived. You talked about the pilots.
And that's the leadership.
Yes.
When all of a sudden you have a leadership void, this is what happens generally to businesses at all sizes,